Another week, another One Piece chapter review, and this time it's over the long-awaited 1044. I got the color done on Friday, and I'm recording this close to midnight on Saturday night, going into Sunday, showing just how trigger happy I was over the color, but we'll get to that later. But this is 1044, like I said, Warrior of Liberation, and last week we had a break, so this chapter is actually semi-long awaited. It was like the longest break I think I've ever felt since I've been reading One Piece weekly, which is insane, because we're living through history right now as One Piece fans. The cover story is setting up an interesting next piece. Mama's out at sea. Let's start our research with Niji and Yonji nailed into the book still, and seemingly about to get dissected by robots and the Charlotte family. So it's going to be interesting to see if that actually happens, if their powers are going to save them, or if the rest of Germa's going to come in and save them, whatever. We're going to try to tackle everything not Luffy related first, and then transition into Luffy, because Luffy's kind of the star of the chapter, as he damn well should be. There's not a whole lot of non-Luffy stuff that happens this chapter, surprisingly. But we get... what I'm going to say is the final piece of the Hiyori and Orochi story, which amounts to Hiyori removing her mask, standing up for her father, and Orochi being a piece of shit still. Kanjuro's Fire Oni comes back and seemingly kills Orochi, which is sadly the only way I know how to sum up what happens with these two in this chapter, because it's not a whole lot. So I guess we can cut to what happens in the early section of the chapter. We get, in an unbelievable 2-page spread, a dialogue between the 5 elders, which basically amounts to what we've all theorized since that chapter where the Elder Stars talked about a certain fruit that got renamed. No matter the era, the world government has always failed to acquire the Gumu Gumu fruit, even after 800 years of trying. It's almost as if the fruit itself is evading us. Well, that's not impossible. All Zoan fruits have a will of their own, and this one carries the name of a god. After all, the Gumu Gumu fruit is really a mythical Zoan. It's the human fruit, modeled Nika, which apparently has the power to give its user's body the properties of rubber, and they're supposedly only limited by their imagination in combat, with the ability to put smiles on faces far and wide, and they are known as the embodiment of the Warrior of Liberation, Sun God Nika, which is a large load to carry, but it keeps going. Awakening exponentially strengthens their rubbery body, and they have even more freedom. It is allegedly the most ridiculous power in the world. So we go from Luffy eating what amounts to a mid-level paramecia fruit to Luffy eating the fruit of a god. And it's the Hito Hitonomi modeled Nika, which, oh boy, I have a bunch of questions for the end of this chapter review, but let's keep going. We'll cut to what happens at the beginning of the chapter-ish. A lot of people, being Sanji, Kid, Law, Hyodogoro, and Marco, all detect Luffy's haki. All of them. Sanji gets woken up from just how intense it is, so Luffy isn't dead, or he died and came back, whatever. We get a back and forth between Mononosuke, Zunisha, and Yamato, in which we get cold hard confirmation that Luffy is Joy Boy. That is just a foregone conclusion now. Which is, again, just insane to think. But like I said, a bunch of them wake up, or Sanji wakes up, but a bunch of them feel Luffy's haki. They're all pretty confused. Nami and Toma are very relieved that Luffy is still alive after Kaido's thing last chapter saying that Luffy was dead. Speaking of Kaido, we get a little bit of a catch up on what he's been doing. We see that he's still just trashing the tower, or the entire castle, basically. But a bunch of the Beast Pirates pass out from Conqueror's haki. And Kaido has the question, what the hell is that? It's on the roof. It is on the roof. And the haki is so strong, it pretty much creates a cloud of lightning inside the building. And everyone passes out except what I'm going to guess are our still main players, being Kaido, Kid, Law, Chopper, and Hyogoro, and all the Straw Hats still inside. So, this is where we kind of get to the main part of the chapter. And I'm going to cut a little bit back to something Luffy said. I feel like anything's possible now. I can keep fighting a little longer. My heartbeat sounds funny. This is my peak. This is Gear 5th. And not just is this Gear 5th. This is the awakening of his Devil Fruit. This is the chapter in which Luffy ragdolls Kaido like the Hulk ragdolled Loki in the Avengers, and like Luffy ragdolled Oars back on Thriller Bark. It is comical how Luffy is treating Kaido now. And to think about 2 chapters ago, Luffy was KO'd and was having a decently even fight against Kaido. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, terrifying. What is Luffy capable of now? And this wasn't an attack to kill Kaido. This was an attack to just flex, basically. And let's not forget the fact that my theory on what Gear 5th / Luffy's awakening would be is technically true. He does grab the ground and treat it like a bouncy castle. The ground is rubberized, like I think it was last chapter I said it. I have been documented as saying that I thought that that's what Luffy's awakening was going to be. I called it Bounce House or Bounce Castle, one of the two. But, like, Luffy is way more animated in this page, where he's deflecting the blast breath back at Kaido, than I think we have ever seen any One Piece character since Time Skip, when Oda got pretty serious with how he draws his characters. Not completely serious, but still. And Kaido apologizes for the CP0 agent, and Luffy says, "Don't sweat it. Now, let's finish this." And the teaser text for next chapter has me reeling for what this could mean. The battle reaches its finale. Next issue, cover and color spread. Now, ordinarily, a color spread and a cover wouldn't be a super big thing. But, this could potentially be the chapter where Kaido goes down. If not, this could be a chapter where a Kaido flashback starts, or where Kaido gets knocked out, and then we start the flashback, or something. I have a feeling that next chapter is going to be big. This was a big chapter. This is probably one of the biggest chapters in recent One Piece. But what I am talking about is a practically unprecedented level of what I think this could be for One Piece. The cover of Shonen Jump might just be Luffy, or it could be Gear 5th Luffy. We could get to see the official colors for Gear 5th Luffy. Because for the colors that you're seeing me do right now, I went with what everyone just kind of assumed it to be, a fiery red or orange and yellow. But it could be green. It could be blue. Whatever it is, I am game. That is how excited I am to see it. And then the color spread should just be, hopefully it's just Oda being funny and doing one of those Straw Hats together doing something, but I don't know. We could be getting something way more serious than we anticipated. But this does lead to everything I wanted to talk about after the chapter. Where should I start? I guess we can start with the fact that this has massive implications for Shanks of all characters. Not necessarily 100% results or complications or whatever you want to call them. But ask yourself, and I've been asking myself this, does Shanks know what the fruit is? Does he know that it's some legendary fruit? Because he stole it from the Beast Pirates. Page 6 confirmed that. He said that it had a superpower. Shanks seemed fairly, I don't want to say calm, because he wasn't calm in chapter 1, but he didn't have a reaction of a kid that just ate a devil fruit of the gods. So I don't think Shanks either knew or was in the position to be fully reactive, which leads to a bit more of a supportive argument than I would have assumed that happened before this chapter. The Shanks being an evil, mean man, a world government agent, is starting to grow some fangs. You can make the case that Shanks is a rat. He went to the 5 Elder Stars to talk about Luffy, wanted to let them know that he was finally posing a threat, that they should take immediate action, which would result in them ordering CP0 to kill Luffy at any means, which one of the members point out in this chapter, is it worth it? We lost one of our best agents, we pissed off Kaido, is it worth it for this one guy? And we still don't know who Shanks was talking about when he wanted to talk about a certain pirate, so there is a decent, not a huge chance, but a decently mediocre sized chance that this leads to more evil Shanks theories. I'm not going to spell out everything because I don't know the full theory stuff. I'm not a theorizer. Yes, I am, but I'm not a sure theorizer about this. But this is starting to have some interesting questions posed. Another one. Since we have Chopper ate the Hito Hito no Mi, just the normal fruit. Luffy ate the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, a legendary Zoan fruit. Chopper has the Rumble Balls. What happens if Luffy takes one of the Rumble Balls? Will that boost Gear 5th even more? Has Luffy just basically boosted Gear 5th already? Is he at his max possible period? Is Gear 5th itself a setup for more Gear 5th possibilities? It seems like it. As it said, it is only limited by Luffy's imagination. What is that going to entail? Will that entail Luffy turning an entire island into a bounce house to fight someone? Or is it just, okay, he punches better? Because it being Luffy, I don't think he's going to use it for anything huge. He's still a relatively simple fighter. With this much power, he only ragdolled Kaido, which seems like a lot given that Kaido's in dragon form, but he could have done so much more. He could have tied Kaido into a pretzel and thrown him into the ocean, and he didn't. He's a very grounded fighter. He wants to win his own way, which is, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he uses Gear 5th, because it seems like his body is more rubberized. He can do stuff like Gear 4th allowed him to, with Bounce Man getting bigger, but it seems like he can just do that no problem, from the panel of him lifting the ground. It's going to be really interesting. Not really a point I wanted to make, but more of a point I saw someone make on Twitter, is that Chopper's monster points, or just points in general, and Luffy's gears are basically the same thing. They're just different versions of a Zoan fruit. Just like Kaido has his human form, hybrid form, dragon form. That's all these are. This is just Luffy embracing his fruit to different points. Another question, not really a question, more of a comment I would like to make, is that now, if we consider the fact that either Yamato or Carrot are more than likely joining our crew after Wano, if it's Yamato, that means we have 3 Zoan fruits on board, 2 Paramecias, I believe, with Brooke and Robin, because they're both I think 2 Paramecias, but no Logias. We have no Logia fruit on board the Thousand Sunny. If it's Carrot, that just cuts one of the Zoans out. We have no Logia, which I feel like is something that we should have by now. Maybe that's a big setup for one of the final arcs. Maybe Sabo is going to be joining the crew. I don't know. But I just wanted to make a comment that we're only missing a Logia type. Something else I want to bring up is more actually engaged with the chapter. It makes sense now, which is a very vague thing to say. Kaido wanting to be Joy Boy is something that we've had pretty much confirmed since the micro flashback with King. How he said he's the only one that can change the world. He was going to the point of going to Wano, which is where this mythical person was supposed to show up. It's a closed border country because Joy Boys might be a thing eventually. He is focused on Zoan fruits. Everyone in his crew is a Zoan. It's like he knows that Zoan fruits have a special power. He goes to the point of commissioning biological devil fruits, man-made devil fruits, which have the adverse effect of making someone smile forever. And all the smile fruits are Zoans. That's not a coincidence. I am not sold that everything Kaido has done is a coincidence. It is a setup. He wanted to be Joy Boy, or alternatively, he wanted to stomp out a Joy Boy. He might have thought that was Odin back 20 years ago, but no. Odin died knowing that he was not the one. He knew that someone was going to come in 20 years when he found out with Roger on Loftail that something was going to happen in 20 years. He knew Joy Boy is coming. He's going to come in 20 years. I am not that guy. As funny as it is to say, he's not that guy. Odin knew that. Kaido didn't. Kaido thought it was Odin, stayed on Wano, either knowing that Odin wasn't Joy Boy or just having a feeling that he should stay on Wano. Because I want to bring this up. It's a Berserk thing, but I'll tie it in. And it's technically a JoJo's thing. So I'll put it in JoJo's terms. Gravity. It brings people together. It pulls people towards the people that they should be around at certain times. It makes you act a certain way. Fate, if you will. Kaido was fated to stay on Wano. Luffy was fated to come here. Luffy was fated to beat Kaido. As the master of liberation, as the warrior of liberation, whatever you want to call him, Luffy needed to do this. What he's doing now on Wano, what he might do from now on with the rest of the world and the world government, he is a liberator. We've seen it in Skypia. We saw it in Alabasta. We saw it in Dressrosa. And now we're seeing it in Wano. Luffy builds himself off of being free. He thinks that the Pirate King is going to be the most free person, and that is his only reason for wanting to be the Pirate King. He doesn't have some complicated goal of wanting to be the most powerful or wanting to see the world at his feet. He just wants to be free. Which I feel is the most shonen thing he can be without being like Tanjiro. He just wants freedom. Which is so cool. I've been droning on. This is 100% going to be the longest video I've done for a chapter review, but it's fine. This is a big chapter. Most of it was just me talking about random stuff that came to mind after reading the chapter. I didn't even say it. I love Gear 5th Luffy design. The one that we see at the end of the chapter, the one that the color is of. I love this. I love this design. I love the idea of it. And it's just so fucking cool, man. I'll enter the fade thing that I do at the end of this video. I have it done already with music added to it and everything. But I'll cut the music out and I'll put just music on that. It's cool. I did a lot of alternates for this color. I really like the panel. I hope you guys like the color. And yeah, that's going to be it. I'm sure there's something that I forgot to say, some random thought that came to my mind while reading the chapter, something random that came to mind afterwards. But in general, I think this is most of my thoughts on the chapter, what this could entail for the rest of the world, and everything. Oh, one quick thing. Luffy is a man who is a god. He's a god who thinks he's a man, and he has beaten men who think they are gods in the form of Enel, Doflamingo, and Crocodile by controlling the weather. He has beaten fake gods, and he is a god now. That's it. That's all I want to say. So until next chapter, which is this week, next week I should say. Stay safe, have fun, and read more manga. Okay, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Funny thing, I forgot the name of Thriller Bark for a solid minute, and I had to cut the recording so I could Google, or not me, Alex Google what the arc name was. Say hi, Alex.
Hi.
I'm a moron. Forgive me.